Does she love me with all her heart? Should I worry when we part? It's a lover's question I'd like to know. No, no.
Blessed be people. Welcome back. You see me? So peeps, today we're going to talk about a veteran reggae slash dancehall entertainer that goes by the name Leroy Gibbons. You know, Leroy Gibbons is a veteran that got his break in the music industry around the mid-80s. So master people, yeah man, he came onto the scene with a different style of music, you know what I mean? He created a fusion between the soft reggae side of our Jamaican music and merged it with the more hardcore dancehall bit of it. You get me as a people, resulting in magic. So, you know, we're going to take a little look at his musical journey. As also, we're going to highlight the fact that he was almost killed as a result of being in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wrong company. So Leroy Gibbons, you know, people call him Leroy Gibbons, them other S to him name, was born on the 18th of September in the year 1955. And you know, as a young man growing up, Leroy Gibbons always had a love for music. He was always attracted to entertainment and he loved to listen to the veteran artists that was there before him. His dream was to become an artist. You get me as a people? Yeah man. So you know, over time, Leroy Gibbons are doing him thing and him go through until in the mid-80s, you know, him start to get a little bit of highlight. His break was starting to become evident amongst the lovers of reggae and dancehall music. And that was because of his style, you know what I mean? Leroy Gibbons is more of a kind of bouncy, kind of flary type of person, you know what I mean? He feels the emotion whenever he is delivering his music. And if you have ever watched any of Leroy Gibbons' show, you would understand what I am saying, you know what I mean? The emotion that he brings when he performs in front of an audience is very, very captivating. And as such, you know what I mean, Leroy Gibbons was given the opportunity by the lovers of reggae and dancehall music. And you know, Leroy Gibbons is an individual who created a fusion between the reggae and the dancehall music, you know what I mean, bridging that gap that many artists has failed to cross that bridge. So this extraordinary talent from Gibbons caught the attention of some major producers in the music industry back then, you know what I mean. Jammys was one of them peeps, is it? And you know, back then, in order for entertainers to get their break, them used to have to sing a dance. So you know, Gibbons used to play King Jammy's sound system. Yeah man, he used to always a DJ on Jammy's sound. And you know, whilst DJing on the sound system, you know, he was taking his time to master his craft, you know what I mean. His talent was becoming more pronounced. And eventually, you know, Leroy Gibbons ended up recording his first album for King Jammys. And you know, this album was titled 4 Season Lovers. And this album was on a cassette. Now back then, cassette was the in thing. Nowadays, one will look back and say that cassette, oh, was that possible? But yes, people, cassette was the in thing back then. When an album was released back in those days, you know what I mean, cassette, and you know, them have record, you know what I mean, that's the vinyl, you see me? And this album was a 10-track album, and I understand people, featured hit songs such as 4 Season Lovers, which the album was named after, another song, Missing You A Lot, and you know, the big song, This Magic Moment, Build Up the Vibes, you know, Lover's Question, another one of his big hit songs, Why Are You Going, another big song, Samfire Girl, another big song, She's My Baby, another big song, Cupid, another big song, Spread Out, another big song. So, it was a big album, you know what I mean? An album that contained pure hit songs, you know what I mean? This was what catapulted his career further into the realms of stardom, in which he remains up until this very day. You know, Leroy Gibbons recorded for many other producers, you know what I mean? Leroy Gibbons, based on his popularity and the demand for his entertainment, went on many tours, you know what I mean? All over the Caribbean, you know what I mean? England, America, you know, other places in Europe and so on. Canada, you get me? So Leroy Gibbons was doing well for himself, you know what I mean? Generating an income and his career going very, very well. You see, my people, Leroy Gibbons eventually migrated to Canada, and that is where he now resides. But every now and then, because of the love that he has for his country, he would return to Jamaica and spend some time, sometimes even up to a year. Leroy Gibbons would spend in Jamaica before he leave again, and then he come back. You see what I say? So that was how Leroy Gibbons was doing it over time, because whenever he's overseas for a while and feel like he needs to get a bus, he come back to Jamaica where the real energy there, because say, so at the factory. Yeah, people, so whilst having a successful career, apart from that, Leroy Gibbons, as with many other artists, entertainers, have them friends and have places where them hang out, people that them chill with. Some of the times, people that you chill with might chill with other persons that you might not know. Sometimes persons who you chill with might chill with people who you don't know. So in the year 2017, Leroy Gibbons was in Jamaica and preparing for Rebel Salute. Yeah, Leroy Gibbons came in for that big show and was here, chilling out and holding the vibes. You see what I say? Preparing himself, getting himself back in tune with the energy and what is going on. You see what I say? Yeah, man. So, on October the 16th now, Leroy Gibbons was on Port Henderson Road in St. Catherine, chilling with old friends, smoking and having a drink when they were pounced upon by men armed with guns, and these men opened gunfire at them, and all the men that were on that ends started to run. Leroy Gibbons also took away himself, he was running, but shots flying all over. Leroy Gibbons was shot in the buttocks, and the bullet that he picked up in the buttocks exited through his groin, damaging his pelvic area. Yes, people. So Leroy Gibbons was basically at the wrong place at the wrong time and in the wrong company. Hence, he was shot. Imagine if those shooters had the better of them in terms of surprise. If he didn't get a chance to run, possibly he would have been dead today. Because the thing is, people, what a lot of persons don't understand, some of the times when you're on these ends, your brethren will good, you will good, but another person come on the ends, you don't know what that person do when he's not around you, because you and that person not like that, but them come itch up around you. Them do people things, people here say, them dep on the ends there, and people decide say, you what happen now? We're going to check out this ends, and if we see that boy there, everything on the ends there, gone. Is what I say? You just happen for your pass, and because you're an artist and you can buy some liquor, and people love the starting too, and you buy your smoke and your all vibes. A lot of persons are drawn to that type of energy, especially if domino are play. And remember, that is what the criminals want. The criminals want to see you distracted playing games, for pounce upon you and shoot you. And I can tell you this, if Leroy Gibbons did not run, chances are he would have been a late legend. He wouldn't be a legend that we're talking about that is currently alive and doing fairly well. You get me, as a people? But the good thing about this attack and the fact that he survived is that Leroy Gibbons had decided to turn to Christ. Leroy Gibbons decided that he was going to change his life because God saved him. Hence, Leroy Gibbons stopped smoking, stopped drinking, because those were the main things that caused him to be on the road and in the wrong spot, in the wrong company. So he decided to drop those habits. Once he dropped those habits, and once he put away those habits, then automatically he will not be motivated to hang around people who are doing such things out in the public. You understand, as a people? And as such, Leroy Gibbons decides he is going to turn to Christ and be of a more spiritual kind of entertainer. However, Leroy Gibbons made it clear that certain songs he will always sing, this magic moment and so on. Those songs are songs that he owes dearly to his heart, and decide that he is going to forever perform those songs whenever he is on any stage, regardless of his religious belief. Yeah, peeps. So, in my opinion, I believe that Leroy Gibbons have had an idea of the type of environment that he was in and the possibilities that come with being within certain environment. However, him still got to take him bridging and could have end up lose him life. And a lot of other dancers / reggae entertainers have lost their lives in similar fashion. as also some of them have been injured in that same fashion, as well as some of them narrowly escape death and injury. You get me, as a people? Remember, you know, whenever you rise in life, you have to be wise in life. You can't be this person who is very popular and with popular, you're an entertainer, generating an income, and think that you can just be hanging around arbitrarily all over the place on the streets. It don't work, you know what I mean? Money not really like them thing there. If you have to be out there, you have to do it the right way. You have to have proper security around to ensure your safety. You can't just pull up on the ends because you're bridging them and say, all right, there's a 15. No, it does not work. You understand me, I say, people? But you know, all in all, people, Leroy Gibbons, a very, very talented entertainer, you know what I mean? A veteran of our music, a legend, you know what I mean? We have to give him all the credit that is due to him, you know what I mean? Big up Leroy Gibbons. Leroy Gibbons are my artist, you know what I mean? I always enjoy myself whenever I go to a show where Leroy Gibbons is performing. You get me, as a people? Anyways, that is just my little bit as it relates to this legend, Leroy Gibbons. You know, you can leave your views in the comment section. Until next time, peace.
A Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go.
Wheel and come again. Started fresh, my boss. Needy bum.
Oh, hell. All this but goodness in a rubber dub style. Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go straight to my lover's heart for me. Nobody but me. Cupid, please hear my cry and let your arrow fly straight through my lover's heart for me. Whoa, wow. I don't want to bother you, but I'm in distress. There is danger up in losing all of my happiness. Cause I love a girl who doesn't know why yet. Next track, next tune. Missing you. Oh, yes. Now, since you've been away, I've been down and lonely. Since you've been away. Yes, Peter, I love how you do it, you know? Run track, see him in my brethren. Yow, yow, missing you. Oh, yes. Now, since you've been away, I've been down and lonely. And since you've been away, I've been dreaming of you. I try to understand the reason you left me and what were you going through. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, woo-wee, baby, I'm missing you. Tell me why the road turns. Ooh-wee, woo-wee, baby, I'm missing you. Tell me why the road. Hey! Next tune, the shop.
Yeah.
Does she love me with all her heart?
Wallet, yo, give wallet, Oliver, give her. Boy, God give you, yo, Almighty God give you talent to see my brother.